Well, hello there, my darlings. It's your internet mom, Brady here. And today I am here to preach at you that you should be eating 3 solid meals a day. And the reason is that the more I work with people on mastering a positive mindset, the more I see that at least 35% of you are not eating regularly or properly. So today I am here to recommend that you make a date with nutrition for a positive mindset. And while I'm at it, I'd better ask you, have you eaten enough today? Have you? Be honest. The truth is, when I asked people if they were eating enough, only 35% of you admitted it. That means a far greater number of you are not eating properly. That is one thing that I know for sure. So that means, well, what it always occurs to me is that late in the day, I will realize that I've not eaten anything. Or at least that's how it used to be before I got this under control. Maybe I had drank like 8 pots of coffee, which, if you're like me, is loaded with sugar, right? And coffee is not a great way to feed your body long term, maybe for a brief little thing. But I would find at a certain point, I would just become so nauseous that I couldn't even eat if I wanted to. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever experienced that? Give me a like or a heart there if you can relate to that. So today I'm going to talk to you about nutrition and the role it plays in our well-being and mindset. All right? Now, as a mom of 10 children, I learned long ago that if people don't eat on time, things get grumpy real fast. And I'm telling you, nothing fixes things faster than snacks. You ever been around a little kid who was grumpy and busted out some snacks? They're like, snacks! It's the best thing ever for little kids, right? So when it's easy to see that in children, but it's not so easy to see it in ourselves. Do you have kids? Leave me a comment there. Either way, letting me know either way. But as a young mom, I always had little bags of Cheerios, little containers full of cubed ham and cheese with crackers on the side, sliced grapes, bananas. I was always ready to just shove some food in the face of a tiny screaming human. And all moms know that to be true. But here's the real funny part, is that while I was managing the blood sugars of my children quite well, I was living on coffee and sugar myself. To be honest, I was irritable. I was lightheaded. I was dizzy all the time. I suffered low blood pressure. I was chronically constipated. I hate to admit it. And once I even fainted in a grocery store lineup, and that was just the surface stuff. If I really start thinking hard, I was depressed. I was chronically anxious. And I even had a few times where I felt suicidal, if I'm being totally honest. So, luckily, around that same time, I discovered a book, Matt and I did, called Recipes for Longer Life. And it was by a woman named Anne Wigmore. And she was from Lithuania. So she grew up with a really simple upbringing, living on herbs from the forest or greens that they could find in the surrounding area. They lived a really simple life. She was a huge advocate for raw and fermented food diets, plus using wheatgrass for you can juice the wheatgrass, and you can also make a fermented beverage. She called it Rejuvelac, and it's similar to kombucha. Have you ever heard of kombucha? A fermented beverage that people drink to give them better health, because there's lots of really great helpful things that grow in that fermented beverage when you nurture it. So for several years, my husband and I studied diets and health and herbalism, and we raised our older children on the cleanest diet that we could. And we both still recall that period of our lives to be the best we ever felt. Definitely better than our childhood, which was definitely plagued with all kinds of illnesses and maladies of not feeling well. My husband could tell you stories, but what are some of the immediate benefits that you could experience if you began eating regularly? And not just regularly, but like really good, consciously healthy food. Well, you definitely stabilize your blood sugar, which will help stabilize your mood. And that is a really good thing, right? You imagine just making it through the day without having ups and downs? Improved digestion is another great benefit. If you don't eat 3 good meals a day, then the belly aches start, and that isn't good. More consistent energy source is another benefit of eating regularly. No more sluggish mornings or mid-afternoon energy crashes because you are constantly feeding your body the fuel that it needs. If you aren't making your nutrition part of your self-care, then you really need to make it a priority today. Now, I'm going to give you a few ideas that you can easily implement right away to get yourself eating better. Now, number one, and the most helpful for me, hands down, was setting alerts to remind myself to eat. Nothing has helped me more than that. The scheduling with an audible alert that is like, hey, stop what you're doing. It's time to fuel up your bod. The next is to double your water intake. My bet is that you're not drinking any water at all currently, so if that is the case, then start with getting 2 liters of water and spread it over the waking hours of the day. Half a glass every hour. Start with that. If you consume lots of coffee or carbonated beverages or beverages of any kind that aren't water, then start replacing them with water or herbal tea instead. The next is to balance your meals and snacks. Make sure that your plate includes fat, protein, and half a plate of various veggies, not just carbs. So not just potatoes or bread. Our body requires both fat and protein to function properly, and we cannot make everything the body needs ourselves, so you have to eat more than just carbs. Next, I would like to suggest eliminating food coloring of all kinds. It's a food additive that your body does not know what to do with, and it can be especially aggravating for children. Here we don't buy fruit snacks that have coloring or cheesies or flavored potato chips. No bakery items with colored icings, no colored cereals, none of it. And if I could suggest adding any vitamins, I would begin with vitamin D and vitamin B12. Both are available in a really easy to use spray form. Now, the truth is, my darlings, there are many factors that can improve our well-being and our mindset, but nutrition is really the foundation. I would love to help you build that foundation in one of my coaching programs, and I hope that you will check out my 21-day Unbreakable Abundance Challenge, where I teach women to be masters of freaking optimism, or mofos as we like to call it. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, my darlings, but if you are so inclined, I would love if you could subscribe to my channel and check out all my links for following me on the socials. Bye for now.